Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, this is going to be a really good video. I had a huge revelation, and I've been a complete idiot. This is the setup for this video. I'm a moron, but I know that I'm a moron, and I embrace my moronicness at times. Because there's a lot of good things a lot of good characteristics. So anyway, as most of you know, like I've wanted to pencil for a long time, and I hit walls with it, and it sometimes takes me forever to figure stuff out. So I've been aware of Jim's Twitch channel obviously since he started it, and I've watched a couple of the videos. I generally tend to um, want to watch them more than I see them, only because unfortunately, like, I want to watch them and not just listen. And because I'm always working, I don't always get an opportunity to watch them. So anyway, yesterday, I'm doing some videos on my Patreon, going through perspective right now. But anyway, I was like, I need to learn more about drawing. I need to watch some videos, and just occasionally you have like an aha moment. I had a really big aha moment, and some of you might go like, this is pretty obvious, but look, this is what I would say is, if you're hitting a wall with anything in your drawing, like, just be persistent and always try to figure out what is going on. What is the problem? And I figured out a huge problem that I have, and it's like, it's almost frightening how powerful this moment might be for me. We'll see over the next couple of weeks. But so I was watching this video. We'll put it on, and we're going to actually watch what Jim does. And some people will know what this is. So when I draw, like, I've practiced Bridgman and Loomis and anatomy and characters and costumes and all this stuff. One thing that I almost never do when I draw is, drumroll, I don't erase. If I don't hit it perfectly within 1 to 2 times, I just assume I didn't know how to draw it well enough, which isn't the case. I've got thousands and thousands of sketches of different things that have really, really killer parts. And what's frightening is, I've been like this since I was a kid. I've always been really, really particular about like what I consider a good drawing. This is with my own work. Like, kind of nothing is ever good enough is the case. But when I do something nice, I mean, I can tell it's nice, and I'm not that brutal on myself, to be clear. But I have a big chunk of of my spectrum, if you want to call it that, is that way. But, like, honestly, I almost never ever erase when I draw, and so when I hit a wall of something that I don't know how to draw well, I'll try it like once or twice, and then I give up. I'm a quitter. And that's why you see me stuck. So this is it's an embarrassing video, but I think it's an important video, and hopefully it's important for some of you, because look, I've known a lot of people online for a long time. Some for a year, some for 5 years, some for 10 years, some like literally since I first got online. And one thing that you can do, and I actually did it just out of curiosity today, is I was checking out people that I've known for a while, their art online, and like if they've evolved, or and things like that. We all have to stay on it, because if you don't stay persistent and continue to push with your work, at some point you will either plateau, or you'll plateau and then start to regress. So let's watch Jim here work on this leg on Superman. And this is a guy who's done thousands and thousands of not only drawings, but really, really high level drawings. And this was such a pivotal moment for me, where I went like, I am a freaking idiot. Why am I not doing this? I don't even know. And what's funny too is, before I get into we'll watch this, I've shared this story a few times from at Wildstorm, and I remember one day watching Jim working on a double page spread, and I believe it was Superman and Batman fighting, he had been working on it for a while, and there was like a part that was sticking with him. And if he ever sees this, he may remember a little differently, but this is my remembrance of it. And so he had the piece laid out. The characters were pretty fully realized. Some of the background was kind of Greeked in, like, maybe not at this moment, this piece, but there was stuff going on in the background. And he was trying to get, I think, Superman's arm. And he just kept trying it. And, a few hours went by, and it was never really going past a certain point. and I left and went to the kitchen to grab water. I don't know what I did, but I came back in and he had actually erased pretty much both of the figures. And again, this is my remembrance of it. If Jim may see this and remember it differently, but you'll get the point. But I was like, holy cow! And I asked him. I said, I go, wow. You erased the characters? And he goes, yeah. He goes, the arm wasn't working, and I knew at that point that there was never going to be a way to really rework the figure to get what I'm going for with this piece. And I thought, man, he's got a lot of courage to do something like that. But over time that memory faded, and it just became like a story that I would share, and it didn't have the impact that seeing this yesterday did. So let's watch this now, and we'll go full screen.
Feels different to me.
And let me I'll try to turn up the volume. So what happened here was when I turned up the volume on Jim, my microphone ended up being more quiet than Jim. So I'm recording this audio track after, and I'm gonna superimpose it onto the video, and then it'll go back into my normal audio at about 15 minutes in. So anyway, so yeah, we've got Jim. So he's kind of ramping up to start working on this other leg, and he's plucking around on things. Oh, okay, this is the logo part. So yeah, like even with things like this, like logos, like if I'm trying to draw Batman's ears or the symbol on his chest, my level of patience for myself on hitting it right, is, again, it's usually one or two shots. If I don't get it on the first or second try, I just kind of assume, I'm like, oh, you weren't ready for that. So hit the woodshed, dude. You need to do more reps. But it's not the case. I really see that I was never giving myself the opportunity to actually take the clay and mold it a little bit longer. It's like really tying my hands behind my back. But I'm not sure when I referenced this, but being an inker for as long as I've been, one of the things that I'm calibrated to do is to always be able to hit my line in one shot. And it was interesting as I was watching someone digitally ink, William. I gave him a few private lessons, and William's real good at digital inking, but he'll actually throw a single line 10, 20 times to get it just how he wants it. And it was really interesting seeing that process, because it's something that would never occur to me as an inker, because my thing, when I work traditionally is I don't have that luxury. And so I think that I just kind of naturally ported that over to penciling, and it never occurred to me. It was literally like a blind spot for me that I didn't realize, which is kind of crazy. So here I'm just trying to get to the part where he starts reworking the leg again and again and again. But man, I was sitting and I was inking yesterday, and I was listening to this, and I would look up, and I was learning a ton. I mean, at this point I'm 3 hours and 43 minutes into the video, and I already felt like I had taken away so much. And then seeing him do this with the leg, I was just like, oh my God, why do I not do this? Because I've drawn thousands of legs. I can draw a leg at any angle. I know all the anatomy, but sometimes you just don't get it right on a drawing, like in this instance. Just it doesn't feel right with the other character, or the angle of it, just isn't kind of working for you. And so this is cool. So he tested out first. I thought that this was decent. Like it looked good. It was like, okay, yeah. Drop in the knee, a little bit of the form, throw in the lines of the boot, and a little bit of and this is another thing that is interesting, not on the same tip, but Jim will render his drawings kind of more at the end. He goes for very big, solid shapes. He's very aware of the three-dimensional space that he's working in, and tries to juxtapose the different pieces of the body into sort of interesting angles that all sort of respond and counter respond to each other. He shades those pieces with compositionally sound lighting and lighting that will look dynamic, and the detail is really the end. So that was a good takeaway for me too, to see him doing it that way, because the temptation would be like on a Superman figure like that, maybe you would start rendering the arms right away. So yeah, just watch how many times he reworks this leg. It's absolutely incredible. And there's so many good versions of it, throughout the process. It's like, nope, not that one. Let's try it again. And what I was saying when I watched this the first time through and didn't have to redo the audio was I would start to lose my confidence at this point, and I would start to second guess myself too much, where I'm like, okay, like, why are you having trouble with this? Like, what's going on? Like, all right, you don't know how to draw this. You need to practice more. You need to work this out, because this should be done and you should be moving on. You know, it's not the way that it is. It's like you just keep reworking it, you know, until it's like looking good. This is nice. And then it's like he just keeps taking it out. I was like, oh my God, he's so brave. Oh, a little bit of the folds there, the boot. But yeah, I'll have a link in the description box below for not only Jim's YouTube channel, but for his Twitch and for this video. So if you want to actually go through the whole video, you could do that too. Excuse me. Weather keeps changing here. It's like wet and foggy one day and then Santa Ana the next. It's been pretty crazy. So he still reworks this thing many times. I think at this point he feels like it looks a little too much like Superman's kicking him in the groin, so he starts to play with the leg just to get a different, like, it's not necessarily a tangent, but it just wasn't like super appealing to me. I'm trying to find where he keeps drawing. Here we go. So he's got this one in. It's like starts kind of finishing the monsters, whatever you call that. Tunic? I don't know, is that the tunic? Or is the tunic the top part? But I remember joking about this like a long time ago. Not the erasing thing, but being very scared to erase things that were looking decent. You know, like you would get a leg drawn like pretty good and be like, oh man, I don't want to mess with that, because like it's like I don't know if I could get it back to that point. I don't really have that problem anymore. I mean, I can definitely draw all the stuff. And this is interesting. He goes off camera just for a second where it's a little to the side, but he's trying that leg at different angles. But yeah, I remember that being kind of an early trait that I had, is if I got something kind of right, I was a little scared to do it. And look, you know, I don't remember if it got edited out of this video, but I mean, the reality is that a lot of people do lay out stuff digitally now. Even myself, I've drawn a lot on my Cintiq and both Clip Studio and in Photoshop. But I still have the same behavior pattern, which is I might move stuff around, you know, a little bit more in Photoshop, meaning, you know, like oh, if the leg looks weird, I'll cut it out and sort of transpose it or transform it, you know, a little bit here and there. But I'm still not erasing the objects, you know what I mean? Like if it's not working, I don't generally rework areas multiple times. It would be more of a manipulating the the size of it or moving it, but not taking it out, because to me that means that I didn't know how to draw it, or couldn't get it the way that I wanted it. So I'm gonna try to work my stuff out on paper like this. I think it's a better move for myself, as tempting as digital is, and I may reconsider that like later, but I don't think that I'm gonna do even my layouts digitally, at least for the time being. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't want to keep changing the formula. It'll be good enough for now. It's definitely not going to hurt me, let's put it that way. And the nice thing about that sort of work method is that you'll have the best of both worlds, because you won't ever be intimidated to work it out on paper, but you'll have all the advantages of digital at your disposal too. So it does end up kind of being a win-win. let's see. It's going to switch back to my other audio now, so I'm going to say goodbye, but the video still goes for another, like 4 minutes, it looks like. So, all right, hopefully this isn't too jarring with the audio overdub, but, okay, I'll talk to you all later. Well, now. Encourages you, and if you're ever stuck with something, I'm telling you, do never, ever let it go. Just keep trying to figure out what it is. You know, really, really try to break it down. And it may take you a few days, it may take you a few weeks, or it may take you years like me. But I'm really, really excited about the opportunity now to take everything that I know and know it's okay to erase things. I don't know where I got this idea in my head. Probably from inking. You know, it was it's one of those things that, like, I learned this actually from doing a digital inking review over William, and William will remember this. I was watching William do digital inking, and he's quite good at it. He would literally throw some of his lines, you know, 10, 20 times to get the line that he wanted, and it's completely different from how I work traditionally, which is I have one chance to get a line down correctly, and then I have to move on. You know, if I ink this knee and my line goes up the thigh or something like that, I can't change it. And that could be part of the reason that I just didn't ever think of erasing more. And to be clear, I would sometimes erase something like once or maybe twice, but that really is it. And I'd almost say it's like I do a rough sketch and then it's like I either land the jump or I don't, but there wasn't any wiggle room for this sort of operation. So, all right, have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow with Super Fun Sunday. I've had a few really, really good recommendations, so I'm going to see what's probably the most doable in terms of ease and then quality of the video itself. But yeah, you know, by all means, if you want to put some suggestions down in the comment section, do. And then the other thing I was going to say, I've been meaning to say this in the videos for a while, is if you ever watch an old video and you have a question about it, just post it in my newest video. I'm going to have a way more high likelihood of seeing the comment there, and just say, hey, on your video for Render Like Wrightson, you know, and you can even post a link if you want to the video. Like, that'll be the best way for me to address any kind of questions moving forward. And I had meant to say that for a while, and it just kind of like I space out when I'm doing the videos. So, all right, have a great day, and I'm gonna watch more Jim Lee. I'm watching the critique videos of the pages that people sent into him. I've seen him before, but I finished the first one. I'm watching the second one right now, but they're really good too. There's a lot of really good advice that he's giving in there. So. This was huge, though, for me, because I don't have as many, I think, other problems. My problem was that I would give up on drawings, and I didn't know how to resolve it. It's so stupid. All right, later.